Good evening, Rabbi. We were asked by one of the local rabbis, interesting question, regarding a person who wants to have relations with his spouse during the night before midnight, which is, we're talking about the midnight, halachically speaking, right? Halachic hours. So the midnight of the halacha turns out to be actually after the hourly midnight that we have. What does that mean? The hourly midnight, the normal midnight that we have is 12 o'clock at night. But when it comes to halacha, it comes out a little bit later, according to the season that we're in and the length of the hours. So nowadays, right, the halachic midnight comes out to be about 12:50 in the New York area and other places, according to their horizon, wherever they may be. You have to look on the calendar and see the Jewish calendar and see over there, right, when it is. But nevertheless, right, we find that a person who has relations with his wife at night, the truth is, right, the Gemara says also, the Talmud teaches us that it's better that it should be around midnight. What does that mean? That this is the time where people are more sleeping and you're not bothered by everybody, they're not disturbing you, and things are quiet. So according to halacha also, right, there's something good about being with your wife at midnight, your spouse at midnight, or around midnight. But according to the Kabbalah, the truth is, right, there's something even bigger over there, that they say that a person who has relations with his spouse before midnight of the halacha we're talking about, as we said, what happens is, right, that the neshama that comes out of that, if his wife will get pregnant, will be a reincarnated neshama, right, gilgul. So what does that mean? That this person has all kinds of problems and issues that he has to deal with. He has to come back to fix some problems. He did some sins, whatever it is, right? So therefore, what happens is that this neshama now will have a certain spiritual struggle, right, to fix himself, to repair his problems. And this way, the parents will suffer because they're going to have to go through all the issues that the child has to go through, right? So therefore, they say if you want to have a clean, pure neshama, a chassid, somebody who's a tzaddik and pure, right, try to have relations with your spouse after midnight. And this way, what happens is, right, that the neshama will be a new neshama who's more, right, pious and righteous and spiritual, a high-level person, right? And this is even better if a person does it on Shabbat, right, on Friday night. That makes it even better, all the more so. But nevertheless, right, the question is, what about before midnight? So the truth is, according to halacha, a person is allowed to have relations with his wife before midnight. But as we said, right, that according to Kabbalah, not so good. The truth is that Moreno Rabbeinu Maran Abba Shalom, or Ovadia, he used to tell us that this is the reason why people have problems, parents with their children. You know, they have all kinds of issues about dropping out from school, dropping out from yeshiva, and they don't behave properly, and all kinds of issues, right? Deviant behavior and all kinds of things. He said, why does this occur? Because they're having relations with their wife before midnight, and therefore, right, the child is reincarnated, right, the Gilgul, and he has to go through all kinds of issues. So therefore, right, it's a low level neshama, the level of the neshama of the soul is lower because of this reason. So therefore, right, according to Kabbalah, a person should always try to have relations with his wife after midnight, and this is going to be, right, the higher level soul, as we said. All the more so, by the way, if a person has relations with his wife in the daytime, even though, right, that a person should try not to do this because it's better to have it at nighttime. But nevertheless, right, if a person has a situation where it's difficult and there's no choice, whatever, so he can make the room dark, right, take away all the direct light coming into the room, especially the sunlight and other things as well. And right, he can have relations with his wife in the daytime. But they say, nevertheless, if his wife gets pregnant from that union, also, right, there's going to be a neshama, which is a low-level neshama, as we just mentioned. So therefore, a person should try to avoid that as well. So therefore, if a person wants to have really, right, good children who are spiritually on a high level, as we said, so should try to have relations as much as possible after midnight, before and not during the day, right? So if a person does that, the chances of having better children, as we said, are much, much better. So Kadosh Baruch Hu should help us, B'ezrat Hashem, to have good, righteous children who are tzaddikim, and we should be zoche, B'ezrat Hashem, to raise them in purity and holiness. Amen ve'amen. Chazak u'baruch. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.